Hello and greetings from Cambodia. So I've been here for the last few days. I'm just on the outskirts of the city of Siem Reap, right next to the ancient city of Angkor, where the world famous Angkor Wat is. So I've been exploring the ancient city of Angkor for the last few days, and here's some footage from there. But now I'm doing a bit of a bike exploration journey on the outskirts of the city in the more rural areas, and today's plan was to go up this mountain range. Well, mountain is a bit of an exaggeration, it's only about 400 or 500 meters tall. It's called the Phnom Kulen, or the Kulen mountain range. Just in the background there, it's really flat and long. And it's quite interesting for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's considered a sacred mountain here in Cambodia, both for the Buddhists and for the Hindus, because initially Angkor, or the old city of Angkor, all the temples in Angkor and Angkor Wat were Hindu temples, but then they were converted to Buddhism. Now the second reason why that mountain range is quite interesting is because it was the last stronghold, the last refuge of the Khmer Rouge, the communist Khmer Rouge, led by Pol Pot, who, after a 5-year civil war with the government forces, the royal government forces, took over the country in 1975 and ruled it with an iron fist up until 1979. Now they introduced a form of agro-socialism, in which everybody was totally equal, so they didn't have any place for any intellectuals, any free thinkers, anything like that. So they wanted everybody to be totally equal. So the way they did that is they made everybody farmers to reconstruct the country from what they called year zero. So they took everybody from the cities, deported them into the countryside to work in labor camps in the fields, just like this one behind me. And in that process, quite a lot of people died of starvation, malnutrition, and quite a lot of people, from what I read, about 60% were actually executed in the so-called killing fields. They didn't even waste a bullet, so they just took you out onto a field and hit you with a pickaxe, a nail, whatever. It was a brutal regime that killed quite a lot of people and took quite some time for the local population to recover from something like that. So you can look into it, there's millions of stories out there online, absolutely horrendous. But nowadays it's quite different. You can come and have a holiday over here in Cambodia, Dead Kennedys. And up until 1979, when Vietnam invaded and toppled Pol Pot's regime, the Khmer Rouge killed as much as 1/4 of the population of Cambodia. That's insane. Now my original plan for today was to go up Phnom Kulen. Well, what I didn't know, a couple of things I didn't know actually, is that it closes at 12 o'clock at noon. So you can only go up the mountain on a single track road up until 12 o'clock, and then you can come down another route. Now by the time I got to the checkpoint not far from here, the gate was closed. Police officers unfortunately turned me away. The second reason is that it costs you $20 to go up the hill. I know it's a sacred hill and everything, but $20? I mean, come on. That's a bit steep. Pun intended. So, Today I'm gonna continue on the countryside journey on my trusty little moped here. I'm not sure what to do. Well, I guess we're gonna start exploring, head off somewhere and see what we can find. Let's go. So we just stopped on the side of the road here with a slightly better view of Phnom Kulen behind me, just on the other side of the lake there. Not very tall, as you can see. I think the highest point is about 450 meters or so. But the rest of the area around the city of Siem is pretty flat. So I'm riding through the villages just outside of the city of Siem Reap, and I noticed there's a Landmine Museum nearby. Now, I'm not entirely sure which conflict it relates to, because there were quite a few conflicts in this country, but yeah, let's go check it out regardless. I know that during the Civil War, the king at that time, Sihanouk, he authorized quite a few bombings by the Americans, because there were North Vietnamese and all their helpers, the Khmer Rouge, in the eastern part of the country. So it might be in relation to that, I don't know. Well, let's go check it out. My back and my ass are killing me. But don't get me wrong, the roads are still way better than Laos. So, I made it to the Landmine Museum. Just need to get a ticket. Let's check it out. Got a ticket here. Right at the entrance. A little bit of an introduction of how this museum started. So right from the entrance you can find some exploded bombs. There's some shrapnel and some unexploded cluster bombs. Soviet ones. And some US cluster bombs. Oh, that's quite interesting. You can see the smaller bombs from the inside, how they look like little grenades.
Cost him $460 per month to work, but he could not clear much land working alone. When CSHD began in 2008, our budget was $4,500 for 7 people. Today, 2023, we work throughout Cambodia, having a team of 36. Our monthly budget is nearly $26,000.
Alright, so it just came out of the museum, and what an eye-opening experience that was. First of all, the founder of the museum, Akira, was a child soldier during the Khmer Rouge regime. He was born in 1970, not sure what day or what month, because his parents died when he was very little. They were executed by the Khmer Rouge. And then he was a child soldier up until he was about 10 years old, when he defected to the Vietnamese side to fight for the Vietnamese. And after all the war, it's so complicated, honestly. I'm not surprised, I don't really get it. But the Vietnamese left in 89 or 90 or so, and the Khmer Rouge got defeated finally by 98, I believe, when Pol Pot died. 97, 98. But regardless, the guy started to defuse landmines and bombs all throughout the country, and then he gathered quite a bit of an audience internationally. He created the Landmine Museum originally in Siem Reap, managed to take care of quite a few children who were basically mutilated by these ordnance, these unexploded ordnance. So yeah, good job, Akira. So, you'll never believe what I just found on the side of the road. A butterfly farm. And some of these things are as huge as birds. The guided tour just ended, and the lady kindly showed me how they farmed them and all the stages of their development, which was pretty interesting. I think the place is called BBC. I'm not sure why, but it's like a lovely garden full of butterflies. I almost stepped on this one. Come on, buddy. Come on. Nice and gently. Come on. Get off the path. There we go. I'm not sure if you can see it inside there, but they're in their cocoon stage. Some of them are already hatched. Quite a lot of them on the side of the cage here. Alright, so there it is, the Banteay Srey Butterfly Center. What a day. We went from bloody genocides to Landmine Museums to butterfly centers. Alright, I think it's time to head back to town through the ancient city of Angkor. Let's go. Alright, so I entered the old city of Angkor and I stopped at one of the temples along the road. I know I showed you footage at the beginning of the video of Angkor Wat and whatnot, but I thought it would be a nice idea to have a walk through one of these temples together. So this is Srey, well, just the outer section of it. The main temple is back there, but I thought I'll just have a look at one of these. I don't know what these are, stupas, really steep. Looks like it's been restored for a little while. Well, a little section of it, I mean. Not so much in here. But yeah, let's go check out the main towers or stupas in the center of this temple. Allegedly, it's quite a famous one, Srey Temple. I don't know anything about it, so let's learn together. Allegedly, it's a really good one for sunsets. You can kind of tell why. So a slightly better view now that the sun is not facing us. Looks like you can go on top there, so let's go check it out. Alright, so at least it's not as steep as some of the other ones I've been to. This is beautiful, but I have to catch my breath. Ooh. Are these the original stairs? Yes, they are. Phew. Quite an interesting fact is that all these little holes in the rocks were made so they can anchor them to elephants, allegedly, so they can be pulled. At least that's what I heard from a guide. Not my guide, just a guide. Quite impressive, but as with many other temples and ruins around this area, it would be nicer if they would put a little bit more information about them somewhere. I mean, sometimes you find a little plaque or something saying something about the temples, but not very often. Oh, lizard. There he goes. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. What sort of lizard are you? A really fast one. Alright, guys, so I think this is it from me for today. I think it's time to head back to the city, have something to eat. I'm starting to get hungry. Skip breakfast. And I'll see you guys next time from somewhere else. Cheers, take care.